to apply for a job, how to advance from the mailroom, how to sit down at a desk, how to dictate memorandums.
You know, people are saying too, when Daniel Radcliffe first came into this, that maybe he's a little bit young, because usually, you know, Finch is maybe a little bit older, and now you're even younger than him. But the thing is, for you, this actually isn't that odd, because you've been in business for 10, 11, 12 years already?
Yeah.
So it's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like most kids are at this point working at Starbucks. So.
Yes. Well, I also work at Starbucks. I have a day job.
You don't tell it. Yeah, the kids don't know that.
No, I feel like, you know, what's great about this production is it really is real to the age that Finch would be. I mean, if you're a window washer, you just come out of high school and you go straight into window washing, you'd be 18, 19, 20, and 22-ish years old. That's how old Daniel is. And so it really works, I think. And, you know, I love the fact that it's a younger Finch. I know that it reaches a whole nother audience that maybe the show wouldn't have if it wasn't younger. And it's been fun to kind of bring that youthfulness into it as well, because, you know, Finch even talks about in I Believe in You, he says, you have the cool, clear eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth, yet there's that upturned chin and the grin of impetuous youth. So it's in the show, it's there, and I think that it was great that the producer picked up on that and decided to cast this role younger, starting with Daniel Radcliffe and now me.
To see the cool, clear eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth. Yet there's the slam, bang, tang, reminiscent of gin and vermouth. Oh, I believe in you. Oh, I believe in you.
I think the main thing that I would tell someone who's just coming up and wants to be in performance in some way, and specifically sort of acting and performing in a theater setting, I'd say listen to the people who are giving you direction and who are giving you input, because, you know, an outside opinion is a really valuable opinion, and it means that someone's paying attention to the work that you're doing. And I've found that at the end of a show, I always look at the person that's come and said, what do you think? You know, what do you think of this part? And I want to know if they've picked up on the choices that I've made as an actor and as a performer, and see what's connecting and what's not. And, you know, you can really learn a lot from just asking questions and having them answer you honestly. So listen to people's advice and their thoughts on your performance. I think it'll pay off.
There is a brotherhood of man dedicated to giving all we can. Oh, aren't you proud to be in that fraternity? The great big brotherhood of man.
You've been on Broadway since you were 8. You started with Christmas Carol?
Started with Christmas Carol when I was 8 years old.
Did those old feelings come back to you when you came back on stage?
Yeah, the sort of training that I had from when I was a kid definitely kicked back in whenever I came back to the theater stage, starting with Les Mis back in 2010, playing Marius over in the West End, and then in the 25th anniversary.
Phantom shadows on the floor, empty chairs at empty tables, where my friends will meet no more. Oh, my friends, don't dust me.
So having that experience as a kid definitely played a big part into sort of knowing, you know, where I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to be doing now as an adult, and then, you know, even further now with coming and doing How to Succeed, where it is a full-on lead role in a show. It's been an incredible experience, and I'm so thankful that I had that experience from when I was a kid, because I think the biggest thing that happens to a lot of people who come from a different world in the theater world and try to transition into it is that the schedule is overwhelming for them, and having the stamina to do this 8 shows a week is tough, but because I knew what to expect, I think it's a lot easier to transition back into this.
Came in and you started working with everybody. Rob Ashford, I guess, is busy doing Evita now. Did he actually get to work with you a little bit, or was it more of like his, I don't know, his team?
Rob Ashford's first day of Evita rehearsals were on my day off before I started, and so I had all the time with him in my rehearsals to get comfortable and have him there for the process. And then on my day off before I went on, he started. So it was like perfect timing. Worked out great, and he's been very present in this whole process as well, and always texting too, making sure I'm feeling comfortable and everything's good. And you know, he's such a visionary and been such a joy for me to work with. And this show and this cast and crew, it's all such a reflection of our leader, you know. And he's a great guy, and I'm hoping I can work with him again in the future.
You're able to use your triple threat status here on stage, but is there one that you prefer more, or is there something you maybe like more about any of the mediums?
I think it's like choosing a favorite kid, I think, is the way that I think about it. I love all of them, but I think I'm always a music person first, and I'm sort of always very vocal about that. I just always have had a passion for music, and acting, something I love, and something that takes real focus and attention for me, and the same with dancing. I really have to be sort of focused on it, and so I love a project like this that I can really get into and just dig into. And with the singing though, it's a passion that just comes out of me, and it's always happening. So it's probably the number one, but these other elements that come along with it are incredible, and thankful that on the Broadway stage I get to do all three.
Oh, aren't you proud to be in that fraternity? The great big brotherhood out there.
Any more with the administration?
We'll see if there's more work with the administration. I think the next thing up on the music front is actually going to be another Jonas Brothers record. We'll probably start writing and recording soon. I think it's been about 3 years, and we want to get back and do music for our fans again. And so if there's an opportunity, when the schedule allows, once there's a little bit less promotional stuff for this, we're going to dig in and get working again.
It's going to be probably pretty cool, because you all have done so many things, like getting married or being in shows. So whole new stuff
we've
to
all
write
gone
about.
focused on our own individual projects and life goals and things, and so coming back together is going to be very different than any other album creating experience that we've had, but I'm sure it'll be a fun one. I found that going into a role that's already been done by someone has been a challenging experience in the sense that you have what they've set up blocking wise and flow of the scenes and all that. It's already kind of put in place, and so there's freedom within it, but it really is a bit more about you sort of finding moments to make it yours. And it's great to have a director and a creative team that allow you to sort of find those moments, and even if it takes a little bit longer, to really take ownership of a role, I think you have to go down that road and make sure that you feel like it's all as it should be for your specific performance of the role.
How to apply for a job, how to advance from the mailroom, how to sit down at a desk.
I had about 3 weeks rehearsal time here in New York before I went up and I was on stage, and had a great creative team helping me. Rob Ashford and his team really worked with me every day and made sure that I was feeling comfortable as we took each step towards getting this where it needed to be ready to go on stage. And I think the thing that I learned in this whole process, though, was it was more that I learned stuff on stage, doing it in front of an audience, than I did in a rehearsal space, because you can get it in your body and feel comfortable enough to be able to know where you're supposed to be, but until you have the reaction from the crowd, I think it's very hard to be able to feel very comfortable. And you know, it was great to the first night have that crowd in there, but it was really the day after, when it was not necessarily all friends and family, when it was like the real crowds that we would have, that I sort of learned quite a bit.
The thing about Finch is that he has to be likable. He has to be likable, but he's kind of a creep. You know, the guy's basically a creep, in a way, I mean, when you think about it. So that's a fine line to play. And were you given...
Define creep, because I'm not sure.
Well, he basically uses everybody. He kind of doesn't really... He tells half-truths.
Yeah.
Maybe creep is too strong of a word. He's definitely driven.
He's driven. I wouldn't say he's a creep.
Okay,
I would
maybe that's
disagree
too
with you on
strong.
that. But I think the thing that's brilliant about Finch, and if you look in this book, is that he doesn't ever lie. So there's never a lie. And even if he does say kind of half of the truth, there's no lying involved. And he doesn't have to. And that's the brilliant thing, I think, about this book, is that it's sort of a satire, obviously, on the corporate setup, and the fact that it's so easy for him. And even though it is how to succeed in business without really trying, he tries very hard. And he does a lot of things, sets himself up. But it's also very easy, because the people that he's surrounded with in this company would just do, this is what Rob Ashford said to me, that makes perfect sense. If Finch and if Hetty didn't come into the worldwide wickets, they would just do the opening number over and over again. And they would just do that 24 hours a day. And it would never change, nothing would ever be different. But because Finch jumps in and sort of messes it up, and then Hetty jumps in and screws things up, it really sort of creates this amazing story about two people who have their own motives and end up being exactly where they want to be in the end. But it's just a matter of making it happen.
Yeah, those creeps. No, I'm kidding. No, that's great.
How to apply for a job, how to advance from the mailroom, how to sit down at a desk, how to dictate memorandums.
I think the thing that I love playing most about Finch is his drive. You know, in his drive there's neglect towards other things on like a social level. But I think that that's sort of really inspiring in a lot of ways, you know, that he is so focused on what he's doing in the business world, and so focused on rising to the top, and never lies, never cheats, never cuts anyone down in doing that, but just is so thrilled and excited to rise to the top. And it's not till he kind of discovers that he's in love that he shows maybe 5 minutes of that excitement, but then goes right back into being excited about rising to the top again.
As for the rest of my lifetime program, give me more of the same. Rosemary, Rosemary, there is wonderful music in the very sound of your name.
He's got a lot of different sort of arcs that I think you can find when you get more comfortable with what you're supposed to be doing and what you're supposed to be saying. And in this case, you know, with this production, the dancing is intense, but thankfully I feel comfortable with it and felt comfortable with it before I went on the first night. So, you know, it's all about just finding the moments and rolling with it.